Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, June 15th, 2021. It's 2:01 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. To my left is Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner Carolina Mejia. To her right is the County Manager, Ramiro Chavez. And to his right is our Clerk of the Board, Amy Davis. Okay, we have our live stream through the Thurston County YouTube channel as always, but we will not have the conference line anymore option given the new open nature of our meetings and the new opening up of some of the guidance from the state on local government meetings. So we're calling this meeting to order. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Mejia.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We would also like to start today with the land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the indigenous Salish peoples who have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today, specifically the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people, our sovereign tribal partners. With that, I would contemplate a approval or motion regarding the proposed agenda for today's meeting.
Chair, I would move to approve the agenda for Tuesday, June 15th, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda is approved. Is there a motion regarding board meeting minutes from June 8th?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve the board meeting minutes from June 8th, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye. Motion carries. Board meeting minutes from June 8th, 2021 are approved. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce a presentation, specifically a proclamation for LGBTQ plus Pride Month. I know we have some guests both in the boardroom as well as I think on our Zoom as well, and we will allow them a chance to.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll let the county manager introduce our
absolutely. This is also my pleasure for the board to consider this proclamation as the LGBTQ Pride Month. We have members of our community present here in the boardroom. I will ask them to come to the podium, please. Introduce yourselves, and if you can say a few words, that will be fantastic.
Hello. Thank you so much for having this proclamation. My name is Natalie Koblenz, and as you know, Pride has been going on for 30 years here in Olympia. And so I'm turning 40 this year. So that means Pride started here when I was 10 years old. And to me, it's so important to have this festival or this protest or this riot or however you feel that it is inside of your heart to happen annually, because it helps people like me, who is a queer Latinx here in Olympia, live another day happier every time. I see people celebrating love and celebrating the cherished moments of families together. And I wanted to also let you guys know that we are having a celebration this year, June 26th, and it'll be at the Lamplighter space at 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You guys can come in live. We'll have a daytime dance party. We're also going to have an open mic, and it'll be not only live streamed, but also later broadcasted on public access television. So thank you so much for having this proclamation. We really appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Colton, would like to come?
This is sort of impromptu. So good afternoon. My name is Colton Myers. I use he, him pronouns. I am a proudly queer Washingtonian, a proudly queer resident of this community, and just want to say what a benefit this proclamation is as a young person and as a person who initially grew up in a rural community where I didn't often feel seen, valued, or heard. These sorts of proclamations make a difference. They make a difference in the lives of our young people, and I'm so happy to see this county take that step forward. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the room?
Again, a little bit impromptu. Hello, commissioners. Hello, everyone. My name is Rory Summerson. Additionally, I go by he, him pronouns. And I'm ultimately very, very grateful to have a proclamation like this and also to have the outreach of the commissioners to ensure that we had a good turnout here for this event. It matters deeply to me because I am also, like Colton, from a very rural community, didn't feel seen other than by a tax, right? And so when I moved to this area, when I moved to Thurston County and saw how open and welcoming it was a game changer for me. I felt like I finally had a safe place to express my love and affection for my partner, and to go about my daily life in a way that was unharassed. So these types of proclamations, they bring awareness, they bring visibility, but they bring peace of mind to people like me who, you know, as a elderly millennial now, has been an awesome progression to see. And I'm so very happy to see that Thurston is taking a charge on this on a continual basis. So again, commissioners, I thank you very, very much for this proclamation.
Thank you.
Anna?
Ms. Couldn't resist.
Well, good afternoon, Honorable County Commission and other staff and community members who are gathered. I was around in 1991 when we realized that if you couldn't bring pride home to the small towns where we actually lived, it had no meaning. And it was very frightening. People were at risk of losing their children, their jobs, their lives. And it's funny, I was just commenting to a couple of the people that are here that 1991 seems like the modern age to me, but it wasn't. And it's taken a lot of work from Capital City Pride and many other organizations to make this a safer place. And I recognize that in those 30 years that my generation is not so much handing a baton, but is supporting amazing younger people like Natalie, Rory, and I'm sorry I've forgotten your name, to step up, continue the leadership that they're showing. And we ask that you, as our elected officials and other community members, work with us because pride is a lot of things to different people. Proclamations are important, but the work isn't done. We ask that you continue to keep your eye on issues that affect us in our public schools, especially young transgender students are facing incredible harassment and discrimination. People still are fearful to come out in their jobs. I still know many people, even though I'm retired, that never came out because they felt that it could end their career or affect them in a very dangerous way. So again, it's a joyful time. It's also a somber time to remember that we have a ways to go. And it's wonderful to have elected officials like yourselves and community members like we have here gathered today to carry this forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Tracy Carlos would like to say something?
Thank you very much. My name is Tracy Carlos. I use she, her pronouns. And I want to reiterate what everybody else is saying. As a lesbian who used to be married to a transgender woman, before I moved to Olympia 11 years ago, we had to hide. She had not yet transitioned. We knew that the minute she did, she would be fired. I would probably be fired. She and I would likely lose our home, and possibly our lives. We lived in a rural community that was not at all welcoming to us. So coming and moving to Thurston County, where we got to go to our first Pride event openly, and sobbed during the parade, was very meaningful. And this just always affects me when I get to hear the support of my community for us, because my life had been in danger before, and I appreciate that it's not here. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I see Gilly with your camera on. You'd like to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, as a staff member here, an employee of Thurston County, as the homeless coordinator, I'm Keely Barrett, by the way, she, her. I just want to appreciate this time set aside to honor my identity as a queer person here as a Thurston County staff member. So thank you for making me feel welcome, and thank you for this proclamation.
And that's it.
Thank you, Commissioner Mejia, anything before we go to the proclamation?
I just want to thank everyone who came out today. I appreciate you taking the time out of, I know most of you have busy days, but thank you for coming here. And it really is a month to be proud of and something to really celebrate. And this proclamation, like Anna said, it is a proclamation, but there is still a lot of work to do in our own community. So I look forward to partnering with you as we go forward. And I did take offense to what Mr. Summerson said about being an older millennial, because we're very close in age. So I consider myself a younger millennial, but I guess that's not the case anymore.
Fair enough.
Sure, Edwards.
Commissioner, you don't know about older.
There's an elder millennial for you right here.
No, I'm going to do the proclamation if we're ready, though, sir, unless you have some comments.
Just a couple. I appreciate it. I'm really happy to be able to do this small thing. I mean, I know it's a big thing, but it's kind of Anna said, it's a small thing, and there's a lot of other things that need to be done. But I'm appreciative that we can do this. I want to thank each and every person that shared a tangible experience, of fear or intolerance, because it just keeps reminding us of the work we have to do and where we've been, and hopefully where we're going, far away from that situation. I thought about something that sort of rolls off the tongue, is to say, inclusivity and tolerance has never been more important in our community, but that's not really accurate, because when I think about it, a foundation of inclusivity is absolutely fundamental to any successful or healthy society at any point in time, past, present, or future. So it's really important now, and it will continue to be really important. So I just want to close by asking the folks who are here and your various communities, reach out to us, let us know how we can help. If there's more other steps we can take that we haven't maybe thought of, my ears are open, our doors are open, and we would love to be able to find other ways to support your community. So with that, let's get to our proclamation.
Okay. Thurston County Proclamation, LGBTQ plus Pride Month. Whereas equality of opportunity and freedom from discrimination are among the basic inalienable moral rights of every person, and whereas our nation was founded upon principles that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded the full recognition and protection of the law. And whereas the month of June is designated as Pride Month to commemorate the Stonewall riots in June of 1969, which are generally recognized as the catalyst for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ rights movement. And whereas Thurston County is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic, cultural, racial, gender, and sexual identities of its residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of our county. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners hereby proclaims June 2021 as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in Thurston County, and encourages all residents to recognize the contributions made by members of the LGBTQ plus community and to actively promote the principles of equality, liberty, and justice for all. Signed, your Board of County Commissioners adopted this 15th day of June, 2021. Thank you.
Can you come for a picture? Receive the proclamation, please.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good. I did on the first one. I wasn't sure.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you. Good to see you.
Do you know where that noise is coming from by any chance?
It's one of your microphones, it's Robin.
Not mine, I took it off.
Yeah, I've got mine off too.
Maybe it's mine.
But it's
It's mine. We'll turn it off.
Thank you so much for coming.
Okay, very good. Time for the public to address the board. County commissioners invite the public to provide testimony at our Tuesday afternoon board meetings. The parameters, when you're called, we'll call 2 at a time if there are. Come up and introduce yourself with your name and about where you reside in the county. You'll have 4 minutes. Time may not be donated to any other speaker. Comments may not be commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business, lewd, inflammatory, discriminatory, hateful. Please be respectful. Do not comment on pending land use matters that may become, or similar matters that may come before the board on appeal. And finally, any documentation you provide to the county should go to the county manager and could be considered, will be considered a public record and could be subject to disclosure under the state's public disclosure laws. So with that, I only have one person on the sign up. It's John Pettit. And if there's anyone else, I'll call for the, okay, we'll get you right after Mr. Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live in East Olympia. Today, I ask the clerk of the board to please make sure to provide you the opportunity to have these little documents here. And I just kind of wanted to make a quick review. I was listening a little earlier, and I appreciated the county manager in making comments regarding the Lake Management District. There's a process. There's a process to do things, and you have to follow processes. Well, the particular part, I know it's very frustrating when people don't follow the process, but we have to follow process. You know, the part I don't like about government the most is the length of time it takes to truly get anything done. It's sometimes horrible. But there's a process and a reason. It provides extra protection for the citizens. So the particular topic I'm talking about is something you're going to have a hearing on next week, a capital facilities plan. Now, the reason I brought up here, and you're looking at page 1, you're going to see that it shows, this is a copy of the docket you guys approved in April of 21. What you don't see on there is the minor amendment being put on the plan. There has not been a docketing of a minor amendment. That's a requirement of the Growth Management Act. So unfortunately, if you don't follow the process, it means that ultimately you can't proceed forward. Now, we've gone a little further with this. I supplied in the next few pages what's chapter 12 out of the comp plan. And if you go to the 3rd page there, you're going to see a little highlighted area which shows the process where it says county initiated amendments. And you're going to see where I have highlighted in yellow certain parts on that, because those are the things you have to do in the process of making an amendment, even a minor one. If you fail to do that, then you cannot proceed forward by making an amendment without it becoming subject to review by the Growth Management Board, Hearings Board. And I think it's important to note that this is our comprehensive plan here. So one might ask, why didn't we have these processes and why didn't we docket for an amendment change before we got started? Sometimes we call it getting the cart before the horse. Well, basically what it did by not doing it, it killed that amendment from ever happening. And there's things about that amendment that may be excellent, but they can't happen until going through the right process. Now, the next sheet is just several sheets produced by the county here, talks about the process again and the time frame it takes on different things. And once again, we didn't do it. Follow up that in the next sheet right behind it. And you're going to see a sheet that talks about, this was a case from the Growth Management Board. You can go online and read it, but this is an example of one that we didn't get into what they call the public participation process was not followed. Those requirements. Now, I sent in an email this week earlier, or at the very beginning of this week. I had several questions. I'll be real quick. One, when was the proposed amendment put on the docket for the amending of the comprehensive plan? It wasn't. Two, where can the public participation plan for the amendment be found? And could you please provide a copy? Never been done. Three, why did the county staff submit a SEPA, that's an environmental review, to cover areas that are not within the county jurisdiction? They're in the cities. Four, why did the person who applied the SEPA permit also be the same person to approve it without any other person involved? Five, who directed the planning department to take these actions? And then of course, six, why did the county not follow chapter 12 of the comp plan? I'm going to encourage you, you need to, as painful as it is, you need to cancel your hearing because it's inappropriate to have a hearing to accept a change to the comp plan that has not followed the process. And that responsibility lies upon your staff to make that happen before being presented to you. Thank you very much.
Go ahead, sir. You have 4 minutes.
Thank you. Hi, Commissioners. My name is Greg Schoenbachler, and I just wanted to come out and speak against the idea of expanding the amount of square footage the county needs for staff in the near term. I understand that there's you'll be voting on maybe a lease or some expanded staff area, and I think that just in today's time, and one thing we've learned from this whole COVID experience is that you know, things change and things change rapidly, and I just feel that it's not a good idea to make any kind of long-term commitments on any type of especially human capital space. You know, there's so much remote working now that's being done successfully and within the county as well, that you know, there's other options to that. And in the private sector, you're seeing, you know, a huge mutiny of office space and people going to work from home. And I imagine the same applies for a lot of your staff and that ability. And to make a long-term commitment in today's rapidly changing times seems just irresponsible for taxpayer dollars. When there's other options, and if you just wait a little bit of time to see how everything shakes out, you might find that this commercial real estate becomes much less desirable and much less expensive as time goes on. And if you decide you need it in the future, again, then there's opportunities there that might show for better value to the taxpayers. And also, I see there's a lot of room for improvement in this building right here. I've been coming to this county building for many years, a couple decades, and I remember a time when you used to have to drive around for an hour to find a parking spot. I haven't seen it like that forever, and we're in a pretty booming economic time when there is a lot of permitting going on, but there's still lots of parking out here. And so there's just a lot of other options to consider, and I think just anything you can do to conserve taxpayers' dollars is a great service. So thank you for your time.
Anyone else? Nope. And are we taking testimony through Zoom or no? Okay. Yes, we are, but there's nobody today. Okay, very good. So that brings us to item 2 on today's agenda, which is the county manager's update.
I don't have any pending items to follow up, Commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, then we'll go to 3. There's 3 consent items, A, B, and C. Is there a motion regarding the consent agenda?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve items A through C on the consent calendar.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye. Motion carries. Those items are approved. Thank you, County Treasurer. We will go to department items. 4A is Central Services, a resolution and called for sealed bids for Thurston County Corrections Facility roof siding repair.
Thank you, Commissioners. This particular proposal is for you to authorize the Department of Central Services to call for sealed bids to do some repairs on the roof located on the Thurston County Jail and the Mudman area. Mariusz is here, I believe, to add additional information. Maybe Robin can add additional perspective to this item. I don't see Mariusz in here.
I don't see Mariusz either, so I apologize.
Two birds up there, but I can't read those names.
Yeah, I was not prepared to speak to this, but I will say that over the past few years, at the corrections facility, we have noticed that the roof, there's a section of the roof that is allowing seepage into the building. We want to nip that in the bud, and this project would repair those areas in the roof to take care of the building and doing the maintenance work now instead of waiting until later will make it cost much less.
Questions from the board?
No, sir.
No, sir, and I might mention for the public that we have been over this several times discussing it. So that's
Maybe add
probably
into-
why there's no question.
Maybe add into Robin's information, this is coming from building reserves.
Thank
It's
you.
not coming from the general fund. And as soon as we receive information as a result of the bidding process, we'll bring back for your consideration a contract for you to consider awarding to the low bidder.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve the resolution and call for sealed bids for the Thurston County Corrections Facility roof siding repair project number 25605.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Item 5A is Public Health and Social Services, 2021 housing contracts. Tom Webster is here from Public Health and Social Services.
Thank you, Commissioners. This particular proposal is for you to consider awarding many 37 projects as a result of the request for proposals in 2021. This particular effort was coordinated with the Regional Housing Council, and Tom Webster is, I believe, is the key in how this particular process has worked so well. So I will let him to provide your perspective related to what you are about to approve.
Go ahead, Tom.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Tom Webster, Public Health and Social Services with the Office of Housing and Homeless Prevention. So as Ramiro indicated, we're asking for approval for contracts to 18 nonprofit organizations to fund 37 projects for the combined estimated total of $6,993,454. This process, back in February of 2021, we issued a request for proposals with a variety of fund sources that the county receives to address affordable housing and homeless services. This includes the Consolidated Homeless Grant and Housing and Essential Needs programs from the Department of Commerce, and then document recording fees, including House Bill 2163, House Bill 2060, and the Human Services Fund, as well as federal home funds. The county received 47 applications for funding. These applications were reviewed by two different teams. One was a group of elected officials from the Regional Housing Council, and another set of applications were reviewed by the Regional Housing Council Technical Review Team of subject matter experts from jurisdictional staff. Recommendations from those reviews went to the Regional Housing Council Funding Work Group on May 10th. They reviewed the scores and ratings of the applications and made funding recommendations to the full body of the Regional Housing Council on May 26th. The Regional Housing Council considered those recommendations and are forwarding those recommendations to you for your final approval today. As part of those recommendations, they're recommending 21 projects for affordable housing and homeless services activities for a combined total of $4,901,500. 4 capital housing projects for the development of affordable and supportive housing units for a total of $1,619,333. 6 housing basic needs projects for a total of $200,000, and 6 basic needs projects for a total of $272,621. I do want to indicate that we indicated this was an estimated amount. We are still waiting final approval from the Department of Commerce for the Consolidated Homeless Grant and HEN, which is Housing and Essential Needs Grant programs. We've received estimates from the Department of Commerce, but we have not received the final contracts. So those contracts we will be bringing to you for your approval once we have them. And then the contracts for those fund sources will not be issued until we have that approval. But that's why there's a little variation or uncertainty in the final amount as we wait for the final contract from the Department of Commerce. Also want to mention one unique, it's not unique, but a new thing with the proposal process this year is based on guidance from the Regional Housing Council. The scoring criteria increased the percentage of scores, the scoring criteria around racial equity. So there were specific questions added to the application process on how these programs will work to reduce or eliminate disparities between ethnic and racial minorities in the services and outcomes. And so 20% of the overall scoring criteria addressed equity. With that, these are all one-year contracts with an option to renew for a second year if funding is available. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Tom?
No questions.
Go ahead.
You know, I don't think I have questions, Tom, but I just want to make mention for the public. Here we've got 18 nonprofit organizations that are being funded to the tune of about $7 million to basically do good for unfortunate citizens in one situation or another. And I just want to point out that this $7 million is just a segment of what we spend on trying to help individuals that are less fortunate than we are. And I want to refer to this weekend's paper. They said they found 3 deceased people in camps over the weekend here in Olympia. And we weren't able to reach those folks, and that's unfortunate. But if we could have some accountability and make sure that we're helping people from right here in Thurston County area first, and not bringing in so many people from all around the country, I think we stand a good chance of doing much better than we're doing today, and we could get those folks mental health and drug addiction treatment. So it's a frustration that I have that we go through a lot of money and we don't seem to be getting the job done. Not pointing the finger at anybody, I would actually ask the community to take a look at some of our work sessions and look at these good organizations that are out there doing all they can do to help folks. And it just isn't going to work. There's only so much room in the lifeboat. And we keep getting this influx of folks from all over the country coming here. And somehow we have to hold people accountable. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Is there a motion?
Yes, sir, I would make a motion. I would move to approve housing contracts between the county and 18 nonprofit organizations to fund 37 projects for a combined total estimated amount of $6,993,454 for the 2021 program year, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the approved dollar or duration, the dollar amount or duration, by more than 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I will say something, if I may. I was part of the group that reviewed all of the applications, or 15 of the applications that came through, and also approved it through the Regional Housing Council. We did have some new organizations that applied this year, which I found was very great. So the word is getting out there to different nonprofits that this funding is available. Of course, it's always sad because we can't fund everything, but I want to really give it to staff because they really review the rest of the applications, and they do such a great and thorough job at what they do, and the way they lay the information out and make sure that it's really an equitable process. So thank you so much to Tom and Keely from the county. They really did a fantastic job through this process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, call for the vote. Clerk of the board? Yeah.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye. Motion carries. 5A is approved. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
5B is a treatment sales tax community grant awards, and Carrie Hennon, our program manager for treatment sales tax, is present on Zoom, and the county manager will introduce our item.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. This is yet another attempt by the Board of County Commissioners to reach out to the community. In this case, is to award grants to the community related to the treatment sales tax, which helps individuals with mental health and substance abuse disorders in Thurston County. Carrie Henning is the program manager of the TST, and she will be presenting this item this afternoon.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Carrie Hennon, Public Health and Social Services. As you know, treatment sales tax is local funding for behavioral health services, and I'm here today to talk about the treatment sales tax community grant process. This, like the previous item that related to housing, an RFP was issued in February of 2021, soliciting proposals related to behavioral health in the community. We received 8 proposals. Those proposals were reviewed by a team of county subject matter experts and members of the Treatment Sales Tax Advisory Committee. And that group provided a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. You've discussed this previously in a couple of work sessions, and so I'm here today to ask for authorization to move ahead with contracts with 5 organizations. One is the Community Action Council of Lewis, Mason, and Thurston County for a contract totaling $100,000 per year for 2 years. That will be to provide treatment to sexual abuse survivors through the Monarch Children's Justice and Advocacy Center. The second program is through Family Support Center of South Sound for $89,524 per year for 2 years. That will provide case management and support for families with behavioral health needs at Pear Blossom Place Family Shelter. The third is a contract with Northwest Resources for $30,000 a year for 2 years to develop integrated medical care for individuals involved in behavioral health treatment. The fourth, Family Education and Support Services, $50,000 a year for 2 years to provide parenting classes and peer support for individuals with behavioral health needs. And finally, a contract with the YWCA of Olympia for $46,180 per year for 2 years to provide a range of services, navigation, pro-social opportunities, and other support through the Youth Council program, again, for young people with behavioral health needs. I'm happy to take your questions.
Commissioner Mejia, questions?
No questions.
No questions, but I just mentioned to the public again, here's a group of very well-intending people trying to do good. We've got a lot of those folks in our community. That's where this money's going.
Carrie, the 2-year, it's $315 per year for a 2-year period. So does that mean that we're not going to be looking at this next year because we've given this money's going to be allocated in the same fashion next year?
Generally, yes, unless in your upcoming budget process, unless you choose to allocate additional funding to run another RFP process. But when we spoke, I think very early in 2021, we talked about could. From the provider perspective, from service delivery perspective, it is helpful to programs to have that 2-year funding commitment so they can really get services off the ground, have some predictability. So the guidance from the board at that time had been, we think we have the resources and it should provide some stability for these services in the community to do 2-year contracts.
So assuming the board keeps the program, the community grant program at the same level, these will be the awardees next year as well. And then if we increased it, then we could consider other proposals. Otherwise, we'll be looking at it again in 2 years.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
I know we went back and forth on that a year or two ago, so I was just making sure I remembered. Okay, it's been moved.
Yeah.
Right? Has there been a motion? No, not yet.
The motion has not been.
Motion.
Is there a motion?
I would move to award treatment sales tax community grants for a combined total of $315,704 per year for a 2-year period beginning July 1st, 2021 to Community Action Council of Lewis, Thurston, Mason counties for $100,000 per year, to Family Support Center of South Sound for $89,524 per year, to Northwest Resources for $30,000 per year, to Family Education and Support Services for $50,000 per year, and to YWCA of Olympia for $46,180 per year, and authorize the Director of Public Health and Social Services to sign the contracts and any amendments that do not change the dollar amount or duration by more than 10%.
Second.
That motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye. Motion carries 3-0 on that item 5B. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Item 6A is Public Works Agreement with the County Road Administration Board for funding for 183rd Avenue Southwest, US 12 to Sergeant Road Southwest.
Commissioner, this item for your consideration is to accept a grant from the County Road Administration Board to provide improvements on 183rd Avenue Southeast. You will hear from staff that is in 2 chunks of grants that we'll be receiving from CRAB, and this is the first one, $1.1 million. We expect to receive a total of $2.2 million in grants for this particular project. Teresa Parsons from Public Works is here to walk you through in more detail this particular item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Teresa Parsons with Public Works. This project is to reconstruct 183rd from US 12 to Sergeant Road. And 183rd is a major east-west connection between Rochester and Tenino. The road is deteriorating and has little shoulders, if any, in spots. So this will widen the road, give shoulders, make it a safer, better road to drive on. As County Manager mentioned, we were successful in receiving a Rural Arterial Program grant in the amount of $2.2 million. And the estimated project cost total is $2,745,000. The way that this grant is allocated for that much money will be over 2 bienniums. So we'll get half of it this biennium awarded this year, and then 2 years from now, we'll get the second half awarded. This project is in the current Transportation Improvement Program and is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and initiative to improve community health, wellness, and safety, and initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community. This also is a project that the West Thurston Fire District is very much in support of. The widening of the road will give better site access at intersections, and they are located very close to this and have to travel this route frequently. Are there any questions?
No, sir.
I might have one. Won't that put wider shoulders on for bicycle ability as well?
that does provide a place for bicyclists and pedestrians to maneuver
For safety for our community. Thank
for
you.
safety. There's currently hardly any shoulders there at all.
Right.
Teresa, does that relate to our complete streets ordinance that is there any connection there?
Yes, the Complete Streets Ordinance speaks to considering all modes of transportation. So definitely this supports that philosophy.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, sir. I would move to approve the Rural Arterial Program Project Agreement for construction in the amount of $1,100,000 for the 183rd Avenue Southwest US 12 to Sergeant Road Southwest improvements. Program 61348, and authorize the Director of Public Works to sign the agreement and any subsequent agreements, amendments, and administrative changes.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. Next is Public Works again, 6B, contract award for the Latigo Street and Chehalis Western Trail at Spurgeon Creek project.
Tis the season. This is the busy season for construction and public works. This particular item is related to, I believe, is the investment the board has made on the last few years to eliminate fish barriers, culverts in the county, and also the board has invested in real estate excise tax to work as a seed money to get additional funding sources to continue to work and eliminate fish barriers here in the county. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. And Public Works has been successful in implementing this program as directioned by the board. And in the last 2 years, and in fact, this program has received a local, national, and international awards on how well Public Works has managed this particular program. Marcus Storvik from Public Works is here to walk you through the details of this item.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Marcus Storvik, Civil Engineer with Public Works. On June 8th, 2021, a total of 4 bids were received to construct the Latigo Street and Chehalis Western Trail at Spurgeon Creek project, County Project number 63008. Bids were received in response to advertisements in the Olympian, the Daily Journal of Commerce, and posted on the Builders Exchange of Washington website. The low responsive bid was received from Quigg Brothers Incorporated of Aberdeen with the bid amount of $1,132,215. As the county manager has mentioned, this project is funded with a $1.7 million grant from the Brian Abbott Fish Barrier Removal Board. The total project cost is anticipated to be approximately $2 million, which includes such expenses as alternative analysis, engineering design, permitting, construction administration, and the purchase of the prefabricated structures, which was done at an earlier date at the direction of the board. This project will replace 4 total fish barrier culverts as part of our Thurston County Fish Passage Enhancement Program. The trail crossing is located immediately downstream of the Latigo Street Southeast crossing. The Latigo Street crossing will replace 2 42-inch culverts with a 57-foot prefabricated bridge. The trail crossing will replace 2 48-inch culverts with a 90-foot prefabricated bridge. Once the bridges are constructed, fish will have access to almost 1 mile of stream and an extensive wetland for habitat. The trail bridge will also include a mid-span overlook to encourage trail users to engage in and learn about the education of fish habitat. This project is in the 2021 Public Works budget, the 2021 to 2026 Capital Improvement Plan and Transportation Improvement Program, and is in alignment with the county strategic plan and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community, and Initiative 9 to support environmental health and climate stabilization. Are there any questions?
No questions.
Oh, the only reason I don't have any questions is because you've done this several times explaining it to us. So you do a good job. Thank you, sir.
Is there a motion?
Yes, sir. I would move to award the contract for the Latigo Street and Chehalis Western Trail at Spurgeon Creek Project to Quigg Brothers Incorporated of Aberdeen, Washington, in the amount of $1,132,215, and authorize the Director of Public Works to execute the contract and any change orders for this project due to unforeseen conditions only, not for changes in scope. Up to 10% of the contract, $113,221, or an aggregate of $1,245,436.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion?
No, sir.
Just between the pronunciation of Latigo versus, I think that's been Commissioner Mentzer's.
I'm going with Marcus. He says Latigo.
You know, I've heard both, Latigo, Latigo, yeah.
I can confirm that. I'll look into the archives.
You know why I really want to know this? I'll show my cards. The very nicest kind of banjo strap is named the same thing, and that's what I have on my banjo, and I've never known how to say it. So I really was hoping somebody had a definitive pronunciation for Latigo or Latigo, but I'm going with Latigo.
The spelling is going to be the same, Marcus.
True. True.
In the record, so just so you know.
Thank you.
Okay, moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer?
Aye, the motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Marcus. Brings us to item 7, County Manager category. Item 7A is for commissioners to report on work sessions, community events, assigned committee meetings, really anything that you want to, and I'll start with Commissioner Mejia.
I don't have much to report. Yesterday, I, along with other commissioners, attended the Gold Star Memorial, and I also attended an event there on Saturday, and this was yesterday in honor of Flag Day. And it was a very lovely event put on by Thurston County Realtors Association and other organizations in Lacey. So other than that, I do not have much to report at this time.
Commissioner Edwards.
I guess I'll just follow up on Commissioner Mejia's report that, and she mentioned I was there as well, and Ty as well. I really thought that I was going to be able to do something like a gentleman, and I was planning on holding the umbrella for Commissioner Mejia because she was the speaker for that event, and it rained through most of it except when she was speaking, the sun came out. And it didn't rain for that period of time. So, anyway, a job well done, Commissioner. And I don't have anything to report on any of my committee activities at this point in time.
I do have a follow-up on what Commissioner Edwards said. When it started raining, I did ask for his cowboy hat, and he refused.
That would have been good. I wish I'd seen that.
And he offered an umbrella.
Okay, I was at Flag Day to hear Commissioner Mejia's stirring words and other good speakers, and I've been, I think, the last 4 of those, and I think this was the best attended one that we've had here recently, so that was good. Had a chance to meet the new CEO of the Visitors Convention and Olympia and Beyond program, Annette Pitts, coming to us from the east side of the mountains, where she managed a scenic byway program over, I think, near Wenatchee area. So that's very exciting. As we start to open our economy and hopefully see tourism back in full. We had a lot of momentum going before the pandemic in local tourism, and we'd like to see that resume. There was a briefing from Department of Homeland Security and Customs about just checking in with local leaders. I guess the new administration wants to have a closer connection between the federal agencies and local leadership, which is great. But I was really looking for some answers about when the Canadian border might be reopened, and they really weren't able to tell us much. The current order extends through next week, but everybody seemed to be expecting at least a 1-month extension on that, and I'm hopeful that we can get Canadian and American exchange of citizenry going again very soon, is my hope. And then a lot of work on climate mitigation stuff that in preparation for the next meeting that Commissioner Mejia is going to have to pinch hit for me on. So getting her ready for that. And that's the end of 7A. 7B, County Manager reviewing our combined schedule.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. I will walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week, where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual calendars, individual appointments on your individual calendars. Those will not be part of my report. After you close this meeting, you have nothing else on your combined schedule for the remainder of the day. Moving on to Wednesday, June 16, at 9 in the morning, you have a briefing related to Long Lake and Lawrence Lake proposed fee increases. At 11:30 in the morning, speaking of open up the economy, we have the first in-person Thurston County Chamber, the 116th annual meeting, and that is going to be located on Hotel RL at 2300 Evergreen Park Drive Southwest. They will be practicing social distancing, and they have requested all the attendees wear a mask while attending. At 1:15 in the afternoon, tomorrow, June 16th, you have a briefing related to plat alterations, and there will be 2 proposals before you. And at 2 in the afternoon tomorrow, Wednesday, June 16th, you have a briefing related to water, sewer, utility rate adjustments. That will be for the upcoming budget. Moving on to Thursday, June 17th, at 8 in the morning, you have an executive session related to solid waste contracts. At 11 in the morning, you have another executive session related to the county manager, as well as correspondence from the prosecuting attorney's office. And that was moved from today's agenda. And for in the afternoon, you have been invited to participate in the call for budgets, where the county auditor and myself actually kick off the budget season. That will be for the biennial budget 2022-2023. Friday, June 18th, at 8 in the morning, you are invited to participate on the study. That will be the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative, and that's a virtual meeting. At 1:30 in the morning, 1:30 in the afternoon on Friday, June 18th, you have a meeting related to the Timber County's caucus meeting. And I am not sure who participates on that. Is that you, right?
It is me, although it's not on my calendar. What day did you say that was?
It is on Friday, June 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay.
Thanks for letting me know.
I guess I would like to point out that every once in a while, there are discrepancies. And it sounds like maybe I thought it was just on my calendar, but I'm running into this kind of stuff.
This is on the master calendar. This is the master calendar. So we'll work.
Anyways, if you could maybe check with our assistants. And
sounds good.
I think there's more to it than just.
More than just one?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And also on June 18th at 6 in the afternoon, you have been asked to participate on the Swede Day coronation. That will be located at Sweet Hall at 18543 Albany Street Southwest in Rochester. Moving on to next week, Monday, June 21st, at noon, you have your standing Washington State Association of Counties virtual assembly, and then you will convene back again on Tuesday, June 22nd at 9 in the morning in this room, where you will have your regular agenda setting. Thank you.
Anything else for the good of the order?
No, sir.
Okay, we are adjourned.